Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jenny will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger.
Hey there, badass. I am jumping in really quickly to share this with you because when you hear me interview our guest today, Danielle Thompson, you'll notice I didn't do my typical introduction for badass. And that's because once she and I got to talking before we hit the record button, I realized that she was going to be great on both of my podcasts. So I asked permission if I could use this same audio for both Badass Direct Sales Mastery. So you guys, the badass crew, could get the benefit from this conversation. But also I'm putting it out on the What You Need to Grow podcast as well. So just wanted to share with you that that's why things sound a little different for this particular episode, but it was such a fun conversation. I really enjoyed talking with her, and I would love to hear back from you about what your takeaways from this particular episode was, because we really dove deep in this particular episode, and I think we ended up talking for almost 40 minutes, maybe slightly over 40 minutes. And it was such a fantastic conversation. So I really hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. And yeah, just let me know. And if you don't want to tell me, at least tell Danielle how much you love her episode. So I'm going to let you enjoy the episode with Danielle Thompson. Welcome to What You Need to Grow podcast. I am your host, Jenny Bellinger, helping you grow, not just your business, but personally, because as we know, your business growth will never outgrow your personal growth. So we're here to talk about the intersection of those two things and how we can use our personal growth in order to build our business growth. And today I have with me Danielle Thompson. Now, Danielle and I literally just met for the first time like 10 minutes ago, okay, 15 minutes ago. And we were chatting and getting to know each other. And I was like, she had actually applied to be on my first podcast, Badass Direct Sales Mastery. And in reading her guest application, I went, she's a fit for my new podcast, What You Need to Grow. Let's have that conversation. So we're going to put her on both. So if you're listening to this, you're hearing it probably either on Badass or What You Need to Grow, but I'm putting on What You Need to Grow first. So let me tell you about Danielle. She is the founder of Goldspun Support, helping fractional directors ditch the admin and reclaim the work that they love. She's an operational partner, strategic support, and your business bestie. She is a co-podcast host on the top 10 charting Business and a Brew, best-selling author, and she is loved by clients and audiences alike. She's part cheerleader, part operations ninja, and fully committed to helping brilliant women stop drowning in admin and start scaling with sanity. With 10 plus years experience and zero time for fluff. Oh God, I love that so much. Danielle's all about practical fixes, proper freedom, and unapologetically. God, aren't you so glad you don't have to be perfect to be a podcaster? And she is all about unapologetically running a business on your terms. She has burned out in corporate. She's allergic to hustle culture and powered by mindset tools and Malibu and Coke. Oh my God, I love you so much already. Danielle brings real talk, real solutions, and the kind of operational gold that makes businesses feel good, raising awareness of how to sustain interconnection to overcome challenges in life and business. So Danielle, welcome to What You Need to Grow and Badass Direct Sales Mastery.
Thank you very much. I amazed myself with my introduction there. I was like, she sounds great.
I've had numerous people say, can I hire you to read that intro for me for all of my YouTubes?
It does sound very dramatic. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, surprise, surprise, I have a theater background. I know you're shocked.
And when you said we've only known each other for 10 minutes, honestly, it feels like we'd already been chatting for about an hour.
Right? In a good way. In a good way.
Yes.
Like,
not
oh
oh my Lord, how has it been so long?
Right. Exactly. So Danielle, in your intro, you talk about how you've already burned out in
Oh,
corporate. Like,
yes.
and I know that we all have that, those of us who are business owners and entrepreneurs have that story of there was something that happened that made us go, screw this, I'm done. I'd rather do it. I'd rather work 100 hours working for my own business than 40 working for you. So how, like, tell us that story. How did you get into helping entrepreneurs do this?
Well, it's interesting because it wasn't conscious in the way you kind of just framed. It wasn't that level of conscious decision. So when I was younger, everyone was very much, this is what you need. You need a job, you need a career, you need to work your way up the ladder. And self-employment wasn't really something people talked about. It wasn't, especially not for women. We just, you were on a path. You got on the path, you didn't get off the path. And I did everything I was supposed to. I met someone at uni, we got married, we've got 2 children, 1 boy and 1 girl. I've kind of done everything I was supposed to. But when I had my children, I was working 70 hours a week in a job I loved, but it was emotionally quite draining. It was quite a negative job. Most of what I did was saying no to people, and it kind of just drags the joy out of you. Don't get me wrong, I was good at it, but it was just exhausting. So I had my daughter, and I'd literally just had my son and gone back, working these ridiculously long hours. And I came home one day and my daughter was sat on the stairs crying. And I was like, oh my God, Abby, what's wrong? And she said, why don't you love us enough to be at home? I know. She's still that dramatic now. She was only like 3 at the time. It hurt. But I didn't, at that moment in time, I didn't know what to do with it, because it's not like I thought, right, that's it, I'll quit tomorrow. That wasn't how it happened. It sat in me like this stone kind of in my stomach. And work at the time was getting really bad. My boss, who I absolutely loved, had gone off sick, and the guy who was replacing him just didn't like me. One reason or another, just didn't like me. And he was a real bully. He put in complaints about the way I dressed. It was just horrible. He used to refer to me as the animal they locked in a cage and let out to kill, which is horrible because I'm dreadfully charming. I'm not at all animalistic. I don't understand it. It was very mean. So he was just poor. And basically, there was one day where he was just shouting at me in front of everyone. And I literally turned around in front of an open plan office of 1,000 people and went, do you know what? You can F off.
Yeah, say it. You are welcome to say it.
You can fuck off.
We are grown-ups here. Yes.
I just literally shouted to all of these people, you can all fuck off. And I picked up my phone. I left my charger. I left half a packet of crisps, or chips in your case. I literally just picked up my handbag and my phone and just walked. And I walked out of the building and I sat in my car and I burst into tears and thought, what the hell have you just done? It was the most frightening thing. And I drove in the UK, we've got things called the NHS walk-in centre. And it's somewhere between a doctor and an emergency room. Okay. Sort of like a triage place for not medical emergencies, right? But you can't get into your doctor soon enough. So I walked into there and I went up to the reception lady and I went, tears rolling down my face, hi, I think I'm having a breakdown. And the woman went, there's a bit of a wait. And I was like, that's okay. And I literally just sat in the corner of this office for like an hour crying, writing an email to my big higher up boss going, this is exactly what's happened. This is why I've made this choice. I won't be coming back for a while. And pretty much after that, I went to bed for 3 weeks, cried and thought, what the hell am I doing? I built this career. I had an amazing wage. I've got a mortgage. I've got children. I've got a car. What am I going to do? And as weird as it sounds, everything sort of came together in a moment at the end of that 3 weeks. On the same day, I decided to do something practical. So get yourself out of bed, Danielle, have a word, do something. So I made a hair appointment and I booked a man to come and repair my Dyson vacuum cleaner. Yeah. Weird, I know, but it was moving forward, whatever.
Yeah, so it was not you in bed.
Yeah, exactly. It was something practical.
Totally
I was
get
eating
it.
Food, I was showered, whatever. So the Dyson man came round first. And while he was repairing the Dyson, he was talking to me and he said, I don't know what you do as a job, but I love your telephone voice. And I really need someone to make calls for me and book in appointments based on people who've messaged me online. Is that something you'd be interested in? And I was like, well, I don't do anything. I just lie. And I was just so confused. I was like, let me think about it. Okay. So I went away and I went to my hairdresser in the afternoon and I was telling her and she went, oh, do you do social media as well? I was like, no, I don't do anything. And then I went home that night and I went, somehow I think I've started a business and I have 2 clients, but I don't really know how.
Uh-huh.
And my husband was like, are you sure? I was like, I can't go back to what I was doing. I certainly can't go back to the company I was in. The thought of trapping myself into another role of that caliber was unthinkable. Going into a role that paid less but with more freedom wouldn't have sustained our lifestyle. So I was like, yeah, sure. And it genuinely felt like the universe was saying to me, now is the time. This is what you need to do. These are the opportunities I'm going to give to you. And if I didn't take it then, I would never have had the balls to do what I've done. And that was nearly 11 years ago. It'll be 11 years in October, a very long time. So I feel so grateful that I got those signs and that I made that choice. And it was scary because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't consciously sit down and go, right, what should I call my business? Let's make a logo. Let's do some funding. Let's save some money. I had nothing. I'd literally kept buying shoes and handbags. There was no money.
Yeah.
So that day it was just like, right, okay, we'll start from scratch. And it was literally from the ground up, from scratch. And I had to do so many things I wasn't used to. I had to go networking and speak to strangers in real life. It was horrific.
11 years ago, that was necessary, right?
It was. There was none of this online.
No. Yeah.
And I was doing something, because I started off doing admin, because the job I'd worked in was quite high level. It was branding and marketing.
Okay.
And it was quite all-consuming and energetic. And when I came out of that and kind of started the business, I thought, you know what, I just want to be a bit small for a while. I just want to stay quiet and do a spreadsheet from behind a computer. I haven't got the energy to get really involved. I don't want to be visible. I don't want to be all over social media. I just want to do me for a while, look after my kids and focus. And that's pretty much what I did. And it's what you call a virtual assistant these days. But 11 years ago, that didn't really exist. So every conversation was, oh, I'm a virtual assistant. What's that? So then you'd have to explain it. And it was almost like building an industry from scratch. These days, there are thousands of them out there. But at the time, it was, honestly, I felt like I was reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
So hard. So hard.
Well, and I think that there's a few nuggets to pull from that, right? Which is, you know, obviously you had hit your limit with where you were, right?
Absolutely.
And maybe making the spur of the moment fuck off, you know, is not everybody's choice. But I understand the feeling because I've been in that where I wanted to do that. And at the time did not have the balls to do it. And nor had I been pushed to the limit that you had.
Yeah.
Right. I honestly believe that if I had had a boss yelling at me in front of other people, I would have done the same. Like knowing me and knowing myself even back then, I probably would have done the same. I probably would have, because that is not appropriate.
And no one likes confrontation. And I've got ADHD, so I've got really bad rejection sensitivity. So anything that's even slightly negative sends me into a spiral. And it was, what was it? He booked a meeting that I needed to be in, but he hadn't invited me to it. So what he was actually shouting about was the fact that I wasn't in the meeting I didn't know existed. So it was the most underhand, unpleasant way to do it. And literally, he was just a horrible, horrible person. But you're right. If you said to me, consciously, could you have done that? No. I just, something inside me, it always felt like when you break a bone and you can feel it go, something inside me just completely snapped, broke, fell apart, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Nothing would have forced me to stay in that building a minute longer, listening to that man have a go at me. Nothing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I think, you know, in that case, yes, it was reactivity, but it was also listening to your gut and setting your boundary of going, you know what? Fuck all of you. Like, And the fact that nobody stood up for you, nobody, like, come on now.
They still don't. No one was allowed to talk to me afterwards.
Right.
I lost a lot of friends.
Right. Well, and that just goes to show how much are they really a friend, right? There's not that, you know, a friend would have been like, wait a minute, you're saying she didn't show up to a meeting that you didn't invite her to. That sounds like a you problem, sir. Like the fact that that did not come out from anybody. Now, granted, not everybody has the guts to stand up to a bully like that, right?
Yeah.
But the second piece that I think people, the second nugget of understanding is you took your time to grieve. You took your time to do your self-care, which self-care in that moment meant hanging out at home for a while, doing what I call cocooning. I'm going to cocoon. I'm going to just like have my crying moments, take care of my kids, take care of myself, like do what I need to here and just, do what you needed to in the moment.
Yeah. And that's an interesting lesson that stayed with me throughout the last decade. That ability to go, hang on a second, I need to stop is something I've carried with me for the whole 11 years because I know that feeling, that slightly panicky, anxious feeling where nothing fits quite right and everything's it's like when you're wearing a jumper that's a bit itchy, it's all a bit irritable and you just want to tell people to go away. When I get like that, often I will, in the middle of a day, even if I have to cancel a meeting, I'll go and stand in a hot shower because no one can get in the bathroom when I'm in there. The door's locked. Mm-hmm. So no one can talk to me. I can't answer the phone because it would get wet. It's the only space where I'm so completely alone. I can kind of do that cocooning in a finite amount of time to kind of refresh me, reset me, calm down, and then go back to what I'm doing. But you're right, learning to listen and knowing you're right on the edge is a skill that you have to learn.
Yeah, especially in entrepreneurship, right? Because no one else is going to set those boundaries for you until you get to the point where you've got someone who is an admin like you, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of running their life, right? Yeah. Being the buffer for those things. And I think the third piece in that is as soon as you were ready, the universe showed up, right? You were like, I'm going to do something today. And it was get my vacuum fixed and fix my hair, right? Like, but that was your way of stepping out. The universe went, okay, so let's see what happens here, right?
They gave me a little nudge.
Right.
And luckily I was paying attention.
Right.
If you'd have done it 3 weeks earlier, I don't think I would have noticed. I wouldn't have been in a place where I had the strength emotionally, physically to recognize the signs and to do something with them. But I remember very distinctly when I was about 21, coming up with this idea for some kind of virtual support in a sort of very old-fashioned 1950s PA style, bit Mad Men style.
Yeah.
I really wanted to fill that role because I love helping people. I'm very nurturing. I love taking on that role in someone's life. But I was always, no, can't run my business. And that all came back into my head at the same time. It was like, I don't know, I'm not very fluffy and wooey. I'm not, my introduction was true. I don't believe in fluff. But I do believe that there is energy in the universe that moves you and shows you things, and you've just got to be willing to listen because it's really easy to ignore it and go, I'm going to keep doing the thing I'm supposed to do, or I'm going to keep doing the thing my dad told me to do, or I don't know, whatever else it is.
Right.
Learning to listen to yourself, and that works for your business. Is there a client that doesn't feel quite right? For me, I know when a client's not right if their work ends up at the bottom of my list and then the next day it's still at the bottom of my list and then I keep avoiding it, or they phone me and I'm like, maybe I'll answer that later. That is my internal signal. These people are not right for you, whatever it is, whatever reason. And I think that intuition, it's for a lot of people, it is a learned skill, but it's not learning to have intuition. It's learning to listen to the intuition because we're not used to listening, are we?
No, not to that. Well, okay. We are used to listening to an inner voice. It's just not always the one that says, here, let me move you forward. We're used to listening to the one that's like, you suck. How, like, you dropped the ball for the 1700th time. Like, how dare you? Blah, blah, blah. Right. We're used to listening to the negative voice, but we won't always listen to. Right. And I would agree. I'm at a position now and I have the universe tattooed on my back for a reason. Because the universe has tapped me on the shoulder so many times going, okay, this is your next iteration. This is your next thing. This is your next thing that you're doing. And I've learned for me that when I hear the same thing 3 times or more, it's the universe speaking to me. And when I've heard it the 5th time, then usually it's like, and I describe it as, you remember that scene from the movie Airplane where the lady is like freaking out and having a breakdown? And they're like shaking her and slapping her and just like, come out of it. Like the universe starts by whispering to you and then it talks to you. So the whispering and talking for me are those, hey, here's this thing that has shown up in your life once or twice. Those are the whispers.
Yeah.
The 3rd time is, okay, I'm raising my voice. Here's the 3rd time. Here's the 4th time you've heard this thing, right? Like, when I start seeing that pattern now, and now it doesn't take me to get to the fifth, sixth, or seventh time when it's shaking me, slapping me, going, hey, bitch, wake the fuck up and do what I told you to 6 mentions ago, right? I've learned that once I hit 3 or 4 things, like, oh, there's a pattern here. Like,
Yeah.
now I get to choose what to do with it, but at least I'm paying attention to it, right?
Yeah. And can you imagine how, I don't know, I can't imagine where I'd be if I hadn't listened to the signs all the way through my journey, not just those ones at the beginning. I am so grateful for where I am. But most of that gratitude is towards myself. Because if I hadn't gone to those networking meetings, if I hadn't, done things that scared the crap out of me, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And everyone goes, oh, you're so lucky. Because I literally just recently hit 5-figure months and a 6-figure year. And I'm so incredibly proud of myself. I was, oh my God, you're so lucky. I'm not lucky.
No.
I work fucking hard.
Yes.
I look for opportunities.
I'm an 11-year overnight success. Thank you very much.
That's right. Yeah. And yeah, I am lucky that now I can do extra things that I love. Like I've written a few books because writing was always a passion, but I never figured it would be anything I could actually make money off of. And I don't do it for money now. I do it because I love to write and I want to help other people understand the story. So in a way, I am lucky to have built a situation where I'm able to do those things, but that luck is all mine. It's not a leprechaun or a rainbow or anything else. It's damn hard work.
Right. And I forget who said it, but it was something along the lines of, because I love quotes, it was something along the lines of luck is hard work plus opportunity, or being open to opportunity or something like, you know what I mean? Like, and that sounds like that's where you are. And so one of the things that I've noticed is coming up in this conversation with you, and also based on what I know you're going to be offering the listener right now, is I'm seeing this pattern of resilience.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
Yeah. And it's really funny because if you'd have said to me a year ago, what are your personality traits? I would have said, oh, I'm very kind and I'm very nurturing and I'm very loving. I would have been very warm and fluffy about it. And it wasn't until people, again, the 1, 2, 3 whisper and then the slightly louder and then being slapped around the face. And I definitely got to being slapped around the face with this one. People going, you're so resilient. Because like before corporate, we've all had lives. I'm 40 something years old.
Same.
There's a few years. So stuff has happened in my life that has proper knocked me down. And I've had to get back up. And I'm not ashamed of any of my stories. I'm really, really proud of how I've got from A to whatever letter I'm on now, because I'm definitely not at the end and I'm definitely not at the beginning. So somewhere in the middle, like a P, maybe, somewhere there. So I am really proud of all those things that have happened. But the number of people that say to me, God, you're so resilient. You're so resilient. And when I think about it, I am. And I must admit that some of that is just an innate quality in me, because you do need an element of it to be in you. But some of it is also a learned skill. So I've done a lot of therapy work. I've done a lot of introspection. I've done different types of therapy. So talking therapies versus the action ones like cognitive behavior to change the way I think. I recognize thought patterns in myself. I'm very, very committed to understanding me. So that's the other thing people compliment, how self-aware I am. And I am, because I've spent years making sure I recognize warning signs. I hear that little voice, the one you talked about, the negative little voice. And you can't always stop it. I can teach you, or I can, do myself all the tools in the world, but you will still have the day where like 5 minutes before I came on the call with you, I'm like, oh, what if she doesn't like me and my energy isn't right for her and it doesn't work? Because that's human nature.
Yeah.
But I still have that. Don't be ridiculous. What's the worst that happens? It doesn't work out and the episode never goes. You've got to talk yourself through that and build that resilience. So it is important to me.
Oh, yeah. And, one thing that I've regularly talked with my coaching clients about over the years has been, recognizing that we're all juggling balls, right? We're all juggling. It's, for those of us who are in the entrepreneurial business world, running our own business world, right? And it's just that what people don't always recognize is that all of those balls are made of different materials.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've just got to be able to pay attention to what ball are you willing to allow to drop because it's made of rubber, because it's made of silicone, because it's made of something that is not going to get destroyed when it hits the ground. So like your family is crystal.
Yeah.
You know?
But your brain doesn't recognize the different materials immediately. Your brain goes, these are all important. It's the same when you look at your to-do list and everything's urgent.
Yes.
It's not.
No.
You know, it really isn't. And there are so many methods and tricks you can use to kind of go through it. It's having to step back and go, right now, what needs to be done? And if for me, that is sitting with my son and building Lego houses, then I will sit with my son and build Lego houses because that's what he needs. And it's way more important than anything my clients can ask of me.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because your brain will tell you everything's important. Your brain will tell you everything's crystal. Every single ball you're holding, as well as that knife that's about to cut through your hand, all of it's important.
You're right. We're not always juggling balls. Sometimes there's a knife thrown
plates,
in.
There's all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah.
You've got to almost be really mean with yourself, but in a nice way. You know, come on, that's not important. If you don't put a reel on your social media today, your entire world is not going to fall apart.
Right.
But that meanness with it's not meanness, that's the wrong word, isn't it? That strictness, possibly, that discipline, that level of discipline is difficult because there's so much expectation. And we briefly touched on this before. Instagram, LinkedIn, all of it, it's filled with success porn, as I like to call it. Yeah. People telling you how perfect life is, how wonderful it is, how they work from a beach in Bali, or they're a digital nomad and everything's perfect. How they, get up at 5 a.m. and do sunrise yoga. Oh my God, I wish they'd all just go to hell. I mean, I'm not being funny. I have to do the school run at 8:10 in the morning. Sometimes I get out of bed at 5 minutes to 8 and just about manage to put clothes on. And you know what? Fine. I still get my son to school and I still get back here to do work. No one's life is perfect all of the time. And if you watch that stuff and let it soak into your subconscious 24/7, you're always going to think you're doing a bad job. Because why wouldn't you?
Right.
Because you're not perfect.
Right. And that's why I also, and this is something that I try to do, is if I'm having a less than great day, I will share that on social media because it gives my clients permission. It gives the people in my life to have permission to have less than perfect days because nobody is having a perfect day all the time. Nobody.
Even a perfect day isn't perfect all day long.
Right. We string together a bunch of really great moments that look like a perfect day, right? But interspersed in that are some less than great moments. But I share them and I do say, look, I'm sharing this because like my life is not perfect, nor do I purport it to be, so like I try to provide a balanced view. Yeah. So that way people, if they dare compare themselves to me, can go, okay, good. She also has like days,
you're a realistic yardstick.
Right. Exactly. Instead of comparing to other coaches that, generally will show like perfection and then they're scared to let people see behind the curtain of what their life is really like. Because if they were to find this out, and I'm like, I have a BDSM podcast. Hello, y'all. What do you think is behind that curtain? Be ready.
Wow. Yeah. And the curtain's a funny place because your human nature almost wants to show off. It almost wants to be better than your next door neighbor. Like I noticed I've done it recently. So about, 6 months ago, I had hair extensions fitted because my hair is getting very thin because I'm getting old. But I learned that I can't wash them very quickly. Apparently, my hairdresser said it felt like someone had put hand cream in my hair because I was treating them really delicately and sort of doing this and just kind of, really gently playing with them and not washing them properly. So, long story short, I have my hair washed every week with my hairdresser. Again, I work very hard to be able to do that. Lucky me. But I noticed that I was only recording batch content after I'd been to the hairdresser. And I'd done this for about 3 weeks. And then I looked at my grid and I was like, oh my God, I look like this person with the perfect blowout every single day. No, that is not me. So I've had to consciously stop doing that. But I think I just come out the hairdresser feeling, oh yes, I feel wonderful and full of energy and let's go and do some content. But I've had to stop and on a day when I don't look like that, record a reel and go, it's fine to put that out. Your hair's sticking out at the sides. You've gone a bit fluffy. The rain made it look crap, but that's fine. Yeah. And that's me fighting my sort of natural urge to come across as someone who's put together and professional and all the rest of it. That's not really me. I am all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I am also the person who did the school run this afternoon in slippers because my feet have got bad blisters. You know, I am also the person who has a very messy office over here, but the bit you can see, absolutely fine.
Virtual background
camera,
on purpose. I'm just saying.
It's hard because I think as humans, we want to be liked. You know, that goes back to the caveman. If you were different or you stood out, you were ostracized. So everything inside our little lizard caveman brain, that's very mixed metaphor, but lizard caveman brain wants us to be part of a group of sheep. They want us to be the same as everyone else.
Right.
And what we're doing as entrepreneurs already makes us different. We've already gone, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I want to do this thing over here. Yeah. So you've already gone, I'm a rebel. I'm different. And then to layer into that, having to be your authentic self online, having to develop a business that works for you and your ethics and your values without listening to other people's tactics. When you layer in all of that stuff, it's really hard to find your genuine North Star that is yours. So one of the things I always talk about when I talk with clients is what their perfect day in the future looks like. What is your aim? Where do you want to be in your business? Because for some people, it's not 5 figures a month, 6 figures a year. It might just be they want to earn, I don't know, £1,500, stay under the tax bracket and pick up their kids every day. It may be that they only want to work 2 hours a day. It may be that they want to work 10 hours. You know, what that looks like for you is personal. And when you've really got a handle on what that end point is, it makes it a lot easier to work out all the steps in between, because you can kind of go, well, does that align with where I want to be? No. No, it doesn't. And that, for me, I think that's the secret. When you found your North Star, your end point, it makes it easier to be resilient because you kind of know where you're going, and you can kind of go, actually, that client breaking up with me was a good, I call it breaking up, I really shouldn't, it makes it sound way more dramatic than it is, but that client breaking up with me was a good thing because they were micromanaged me, it made me uncomfortable, and they didn't fit with where I wanted to be anyway. All right, I can move on from that. Whereas before that, I would have been in tears on the floor that someone hated me.
Yeah,
I was that delicate. So yeah, I think for me, that would be the secret. Find your Z, find your end. Is it your Z? Your Z? Your Z?
Yeah, either is fine.
Fine. You find your end point that you want to aim to, your perfect day. You know, my business in 10 years' time looks like this. Where am I? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does that make you feel inside?
Right.
And then every step you take, how am I getting there?
Yeah.
I think that for me is I just feel all warm and fuzzy.
Right. Right. And I think that's a really important thing that sometimes entrepreneurs and business owners don't always spend enough time focusing on, is what am I building? Like, they'll think about it maybe once a year, but they're thinking about it like, what am I building in the next year, instead of sitting there and focusing on a very regular basis on what am I ultimately building? What is the ultimate like end game on this? And that's a conversation that I regularly have with people when we're talking about vision boards. Like, a vision board is not about like put a dream on a poster board and pray that it comes true. Like, that's not how vision boards work. But
it's
that's
amazing how many people think that, though.
Right. And when you're really creating, like when you're really putting out, like, here's what I want to create, the way you make that happen is by using the vision board to make decisions.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I have I didn't do a vision board this year. I did a bingo board. So it's got 16 squares with 16 items I really wanted to achieve. So it's more definable steps.
Yeah.
What I love is I've got a little a reel of gold stars, and every time I achieve one, I put a gold star on my bingo board. And honestly, it brings me the most joy.
I love that.
It's just such a happy thing for me. And that's another thing about being a business owner. You get to do things the way you want to do them. Yeah. If I want a bingo board and gold shiny stars, I will have a bingo board and gold shiny stars. My office is pink because I love pink, and I can have it pink. You know, all the little things. It takes a while. If you've just left a corporate role or you've left any kind of employment, it takes a while to get out of the habit of kind of, when you want to take time off, looking around for someone to ask. Because you're
True.
like, who's in charge? Oh, it's me. Oh, okay.
Right. Let me
Those
check with the
habits.
boss. Oh, wait, she said yes. All right, great.
Exactly. Those habits are hard to break. 11 years down the line, I've got things set up the way I love them. I have a jar of sweets on my desk. I have my bottle of water that never does run out, obviously, but I fill it up. But I have my quotes, I have my medals and things I've achieved. I have vision boards. I have everything the way I want it. But as a new business owner, I can't imagine these days how inundated you must be with the vision of what other people think you should be aiming for. That yacht lifestyle. You all want to live on a boat sipping champagne. I don't. I get
Nope.
seasick really badly.
Yeah.
No,
No,
thank you.
I live in a landlocked area. Like the closest body of water to me is the Mississippi River, and that is not what people imagine their yacht being on, okay? It's called the Big Muddy, okay? It is a brown river, okay?
Nice.
No, that's not
You're not
that's
diving off the side of that.
no, 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 no. Now, would I like to vacation on something like that? Sure. Do I want to live on it? No. Mama needs space. I am almost 6 feet tall. I am not living on that. Okay.
One of those little hammocks.
Right.
Lovely.
God, those things fold me into origami. No, thank you. I'm good.
That's what you see. Let's say I
Right.
started my business tomorrow and I'm like, right, I'm going to look at other people online who do what I want to do. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of false promises. You can make 6 figures overnight doing this. You're going to see, buy my course and it'll solve all your problems. You're going to see, this is what you should be doing. And if you haven't done this within 2 weeks, you're failing at your business. And I think it's part of the way marketing is going. It's going in quite a negative bias way because people respond to it, obviously. But that doesn't make it ethical or right. I would never, ever use negative bias in my marketing because I ethically think it is wrong. I think you shouldn't scare people into paying you X amount of pounds or dollars or whatever, when realistically, you're not going to solve all of their problems.
No.
Yeah. Offer a product, tell them the benefits, tell them what they could get from it, and allow them to make that decision. Don't put them rocking in a corner thinking that if they don't spend £10,000 on your mastermind or whatever, their life is over. That's just awful.
Yeah. No. And I definitely see a big swing coming away from that heavy duty bro marketing.
Yeah.
And I call it that because it is,
a
heavily male, a heavily masculine way to market.
Yeah.
And, I think there's a lot of people out there, yes, even men who are going, ew, that's not me. Right. And so, but they don't know what to do instead. They don't that's what they see a proliferation of. And they're not seeing but what's the alternative? So if I don't do that, what do I do instead?
And the trouble is, it is successful. So you look at it and go, I don't want to do it. But those people are getting thousands of signups or, sales from it. So you're sitting there thinking, I don't want to do it, but I really want the thousands of signups.
Right. So, and here's the thing. Let's circle back to what we were talking about before. Pull back the curtain. Yes, they're getting thousands of signups is what they're showing. They're taking screenshots of, I just did this 4-hour workshop and I ended up signing, 553 people as clients. What I'd like to know is how many of them showed up, were engaged, were a great client and stuck around. Because for me, I'd rather have 10 amazing, perfectly aligned clients than 500 people going, her shit doesn't work.
Yeah. And what I don't want, and what I couldn't look at myself every day in the mirror or sleep with, is knowing that people bankrupted themselves or pushed themselves to the edge to buy into my thing, not getting, 10 times the return, 100 times the return, 2 million times the return, or whatever stupid promise I made. That's what I couldn't live with. I personally believe that training and knowledge should be accessible. Absolutely. I have to make a living. I do. I charge my clients. I have small ticket resources and courses just literally because I need to pay my bills and, buy footballs for my children, whatever else it is they need. But I don't think it should be £10,000. And the number of people have gone, you're really underpriced. And I'm like, I don't care. It's not about the money. It's about the fact that I've climbed for 11 years through what you and I have just talked about being the teacups on the roller coaster, this crazy, crazy up, down, roundabout journey. And I want to reach back and help other people take that journey too, because for me, it feels selfish not to do that. It's not a competition thing. There's space for all of us. I'm not going to turn around and go, no, I'm not going to help you because you might do what I do and then that's not fair. No.
Exactly.
That's just not me.
Exactly. And right, there's 8 billion people on Earth. 8 billion with a B, right? And that was as of November, like 2 years ago. Okay. November 2023, I think, is when we officially hit the 8 billion on the planet. I'm sorry, I can't handle a 10th of that as clients. Okay. And I know that. And I don't want that many right now. Like now, could I eventually, if I built up a big enough business? Sure. Is that my goal? I don't know.
Well, they're not all going to be aligned with you anyway.
Right. Exactly. So it's really about going through and yes, turning around and helping people, and that's why, I've reached out, and have been happy for 6 years to talk to other podcasters, to talk, because duh, like, it
There's
makes
a benefit
sense
to everyone. It's a bit like networking's really funny, especially when it comes to men and women. So I found face-to-face, especially networking, women are about relationships. We're about connection. And that's quite a sweeping statement. There will be exceptions to every rule, obviously. But
of course,
generally, you'll meet someone, you'll have a chat. You have no idea what you can and can't get from them, but it doesn't matter. You're just connecting with them. And your brain might go, oh, this person would be absolutely brilliant if I connected them with so-and-so. You're not doing it from a place of what can they give me. I found a lot more with men that they're a lot more about, is this person useful to me? If they're not, I'm just going to disengage from this conversation and wander off really quickly, which is why I found rooms with women a lot easier. I do have male clients, but I have found women to be easier because we're more concerned with the long term. It's not, are you useful to me right now? Oh, all right, then no.
Yeah, that's the hunters rather than the farmers, right?
Exactly. And that really frustrates me because it's such a short-term view. You have no idea how, I've got a client, I made friends with her 10 years ago in a networking meeting when I was looking to take some legal action against the company I used to work for, because she's a lawyer. She became my client 6 months ago. If all my clients had 10-year lead times, I'd be very, very poor. But do you know what? That's the benefit of a relationship that we've nurtured over the years. We've checked in with each other. We're not best friends. We don't have a bottle of wine every week, but we've just checked in. I've seen how she is. I've sent her leads when I've had leads and, vice versa. It's been a lovely relationship that's grown into something where she actually needs me now. And that's wonderful. But I never expected that at the beginning.
No, exactly.
And I think as women and as people, we are better at that. There are some men who are good at it. I have met men who are good at it, so I really shouldn't diss every single man in the world. I'm not a man hater.
No.
But agreed. I think you have to go into these conversations thinking, how can I help this person? Or thinking, what's interesting about them? What can I connect with? What can I laugh at? What interesting fact can I learn that's just going to stick with me so they stick in my head? And like you said, when you talk to other podcasters, maybe you're learning something different you could do, or a different podcast you could launch. Maybe you're finding a guest you'd never heard of. Maybe you're finding an angle you'd never thought of. There is so much to learn from people.
Right.
Why don't people want to learn?
I know. Well, and that's why I started What You Need to Grow, was really to speak to and feed into the entrepreneur who wants to learn, who wants to grow, right? Through personal growth and through their business growth. Right. And how those two are really intertwined, because what I've seen now, having been in the world of being in business for and by yourself since 2010, like really having been through that and seen not just my own journey, but lots of other entrepreneurs' journeys, their business, if they are the one running the business that they are out networking for example, their business never outgrowed their vision. Their business never outgrew who they were as a human being. They are always, the business owner, the entrepreneur is always the lid for how big that can grow.
Yeah.
Right?
I've never noticed that pattern before, but it's a really interesting way to describe it. You almost create your own glass ceiling without realizing you're doing it.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to face that there's not a deficiency in you, but a gap that needs filling. It's not always easy to do that.
Right.
I think I'm at a really funny stage in my business where I've never earned so much money, but I've also never been so cash poor. And it's because every single penny has gone back into investing. It's investing in me. I've done masterminds. I've done training in things like PR that I've never done before to help me upskill. I've done so much. I've had retreats. I've been abroad to go on retreats. I've invested so much. I am so broke right now, but in a good way.
Right.
I'm not worried about it. Obviously I pay the minimum bills. Everything's covered. Don't worry.
Right.
But I'm not buying myself any clothes lately. But that's fine because I know where that money's gone. And I could not take a step into this proper CEO role without doing those things, without finding rooms full of women or people who are supporting me, without doing some positive psychology work that's been really fundamental in helping me build more resilience, without finding someone who goes, you want to write a book? Go on then. Don't worry about it. It'll be great. No one reads it. Who cares? Carry on. You need those cheerleaders in your life. You need those people who are going to support you. And you're right. If you're the lid and you're proper stuck where you are, your business is going to feel tense and uncomfortable, and you won't know what to do next.
Right. And really that feeling of if people can begin to, in entrepreneurs especially, if they can begin to recognize that when they feel stuck, when the business feels stuck, it's because they've become the lid. Like there's no more traction because they don't have that next piece to go to the next level. And so it's okay, what do I need to learn? Or what do I need to work on either within myself or within the business? Or in some cases, and in many cases, it's both, right? Because right.
Well, you are the business, aren't you? It started generally with an idea or a passion that comes from you. Right. So it's so hard to extricate the person from the business. Mm-hmm. They are, in the same way they're linked from a growth point of view, they're linked from a origins story point of view. My business exists because I suffered a lot of trauma that put me in a position where I was ready for change. And it also put me in a position where I never want another human being to feel the way I felt, that overwhelmed, that burnt out, and that on the edge. And recognizing that in other people and helping other people with that is a genuine calling for me. And I know not everyone, I don't know if your business is waxing people's legs or whatever, maybe you're not quite as excitable about it as I am, but you still started it for a reason. So it's still very interlinked with who you are.
Right. It definitely is. And if people can find that and then use that to figure out, okay, so what is it that I need to, because if I am stuck, if my business is stuck, what is it that I need to learn? What is it that I need to go explore to grow? Right. Because the definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping that you're going to grow, and it's not showing any different results, you're literally insane.
Yes, right? You are. You're an insane stuck lid.
Right. Yeah. And so it's just utilizing the ability to go, okay, it is time to figure out where am I stuck? How am I stuck? Who do I need to talk to figure this out? Where can I get another set of eyes on this to go, like, what's holding me back? Because maybe it is the right activity, but being done in the wrong way or with the wrong people or with the wrong audience or whatever, right? Maybe they're doing the activity on LinkedIn and it needs to be on Instagram, or they're doing it on Facebook and it needs to be on TikTok or whatever. I don't know. But it's, where can we do that? So you and I obviously could continue talking forever.
And you've just made 7 episodes of the podcast.
Right. We've got some great things here, right? But you do have an offer for the people who are listening right now, which really feeds in well to what we've been talking about, which is the resilience piece. So you have a digital copy of the book called, it's what now?
The I in Resilience. So it's very much about you and how you build the resilience tools. And it's not just in business, it's in life as well. So it's very much a practical guide. So the first, bit, if you like, is my story. So I wanted to contextualize what resilience means to me. So I've just given a few examples of some of the things I've been through in life to help you recognize maybe patterns in your own life, or recognize that it's all right to go, actually, that thing was really flipping hard and I made it through. And then the rest of the book is a bunch of exercises and tools that are very, very practical. I mean, I wouldn't do all of them be doing nothing but exercises all day long, but you can pick and choose the things that work for you. I give you context where I've used them. So it's like, I don't know if you have Haynes manuals in the US. We have them over here. They're like car guides. It's like a how-to for being resilient, if you like.
Oh, I love that
so
idea.
It's not fluff. It's not about being fluffy. It's about real, demonstrable tools that you can use. And if you just take one exercise in this book or one tool and it makes a difference, it stops the negative monkey voice, or it helps you take a step forward, or it helps you see where you can change, then my life will be perfect. That will make me so happy.
Right, exactly. And so one thing that, because of course this isn't just going out to the what you need to grow like listener, it's also going out to my badass crew on the badass side. And one thing we've talked about on my badass podcast quite a bit is, and I am now speaking to the listener. So I don't care which show you're on and listening to right now. I'm speaking to you, okay? If you have found value from this conversation today, through Danielle's conversation, through what I had to say, please reach out to the person who made the impact on you. Reach out to Danielle. Her information, her contact information is in the show notes, or if you're on YouTube, it's in the description under the video. Go click on your favorite way to get a hold of her and send her a message and just say, thank you, this was helpful. And if you want, click on the link to go get your digital copy. Now, because it's coming through Amazon, she can't make it free.
I can't.
Right.
Amazon are very mean like that.
They do expect some money to happen through. So, but there is a code next to your country's link. Okay. Assuming that everyone here is English or speaking English, you're going to have a link to your country's version of Amazon, and then a code to put in, a coupon code that will get you that digital copy at a really, really reasonable rate. We were talking like somewhere around $1 US or something, right? Just so she can get it to you, so it's in your hands. And if you put a little money in it, like $1 US or a pound or a Canadian dollar or an Australian dollar, I don't care, right? If you put a little something in it, you're more likely to at least go freaking open it and read it.
That is true. I've done that. How many books have you got for free that you haven't opened?
I have a whole folder of them on my
There's
computer.
A few.
Yeah. I've got a few, right? And so, but if you even put a little in, you'll go take a look, and if you're doing maybe the 75 hard and you have to read 10 pages a day, or maybe you did 75 hard a few years ago when everybody else was doing it, and the one thing that stuck around is you read 10 pages a day, hey, here you go. You just got another book for your 10 pages a day. You're welcome. So
even my hairdresser loves it.
Oh, good. All right.
Bless her. She misread the title as the one in resilience. But, never mind.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all
fine.
Good. Yeah. So the I am resilience is, and I love that, because in order for someone to be part of that 10%, because, we all hear the statistics, right? Like something like 87 to 90% of entrepreneurs have gone out of business in 5 years or less, right? So if you want to be part of that 10% that makes it more than 5 years, regardless of whether you're in network marketing or whatever, because I find it interesting that the statistics are the same regardless of the industry. You think people give network marketing shit saying, well, you've got a 90% failure rate. So does all other entrepreneurship, mofo.
Nice. Yeah.
Like, I got the stats. Yeah. But if you want to be part of that 10%, resilience is going to be really important. And I'm with you, Danielle. I am also ADHD with rejection sensitivity dysphoria.
There's quite a bit on that in the book. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I will be one of the first people going and downloading it once I get the links and the codes to put in here for you guys to go do that thing. So, but I'm going to come back to this. If you want the gratitude, if you want to, the highest vibration in the world is gratitude. Send gratitude to Danielle if you pulled something from what she shared that is helping you see things in a new light. Do whatever that is. Or maybe you get the book and you find something from that is helpful. Please reach out and let her know, because that fills her metaphorical cup. And it sounds like, and
it would. Yeah.
Then that's what we want, right?
I'm happy even thinking about it.
Right. And the really interesting thing is that, energy, vibration, frequency doesn't know time or space, right? And so there are people who pulled from this. Like I literally felt shifts from people who are listening to this who haven't even heard it, like as of right now, because we're just recording it, you and me, that's it. There's no one else here.
It's private at the moment. Yeah.
Right. But the people who are listening right now have had some shifts. They've had some aha moments like, oh, yeah, or at least there's been some connection to the conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what this is really about, is what can we do to help move people along in their personal growth and or then the ripple effect being their business growth. So
and make them become unstuck lids.
Exactly.
That's quite hard to say, unstuck lid.
Yes, exactly. It's not that jam lid that's all stuck because it's sugary, right?
Oh, no.
We're going to take that pop. We're going to run that under hot water, pop it off. We'll be great. So, Danielle, thank you for being here. I'm so glad you applied to be on Badass right around the time that What You Need to Grow is getting ready to launch, because I think we can really help a lot of people with this. So thank you for sharing your story.
It feels like the universe again doing its thing.
It really does. It really does. And of course, if you're listening to this, make sure you click subscribe, because you're early on in the What You Need to Grow family here. And if you're on Badass and you're not already following, why the fuck not? You should be. So click follow. Y'all know better. And, make sure you're coming back for this, because maybe Danielle's conversation helped you get a mindset. And one of our future episodes will help you learn the tool, the thing that actually gets you some more traction in your business too. So sometimes we are just the hot water over the jar lids, and I'm okay with that. So
what a great metaphor. Yeah,
I know, right? It is what it is. But make sure you follow What You Need to Grow, not only on your phone, in your podcast app, and become a subscriber of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery YouTube channel, where this show will be playing on the regular, but also following on all of the social medias where we have What You Need to Grow down in the show notes. Click them, follow them, because you don't want to miss an episode, because you never know what it is that you might hear that can grow you or your business. So thank you so much, and come back for the next episode next week.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast, so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.